listening to Give God 90, where we're not afraid of the tough biblical questions, because we will dig through the language, the culture, and the history to find the truth revealed in the words of our Creator.
I wanna see the light.
Well, hello, everyone. We hope you're having a good day, and we are certainly glad that you chose to share a part of it with us. My name is Jerry Mitchell, your host for Give God 90. Sitting in the supervisor's seat is Myra.
Hello, everyone.
And we want to remind all of the new folks that the website's there, givegod90.com, all kinds of stuff on there for you. If you like what you hear, those share buttons work really, really well, so do the notifications. If you want to leave us a comment, you can do so either on the comment section in the podcast, or, we're all over social media and even places I don't like to be, but we're there. Just leave us a comment, or if you have a question, that's fine as well. Before I get into what I'm going to talk about today, Myra was out this morning. We have some fig bushes out. And she comes in, she says, well, I feel like we're already in Tennessee. I said, why is that? Well, we've got big old garden spiders and a snake in the fig bush. Snake in the fig bush. Did it talk to you?
No.
Good. I thought she was talking about, because we've got a little garter snake that's been running around the yard for a couple of years, and I thought she saw it underneath. Well, she says, no, it's up in the bush. What do you mean it's up in the bush? Very rarely do garter snakes climb like that, but we had some rain yesterday, so it was actually about 3 foot up in the fig bush. So I wish I had been thinking, went and got a picture. By the time I got a camera, it was gone. So, but I thought that was kind of interesting. A snake in the fig bush. Go read Genesis chapter 3 and tell me what you think of that. On to what I had planned to talk about today, because that was just something I thought it was kind of cool and unplanned, but okay. We hear in songs and sermons, seek the face of God, seek the face of your Creator. But even Moses was not given the privilege of seeing his face. So what's going on? How many songs do we hear about this? If you listen to any type of worship music, how many sermons have you listened to that have included this? So to get a little better understanding of what's going on, I've got this passage, and I have tweaked it. I've included the names so we can hear exactly how Moses narrates this conversation. It's between Moses and the Creator on the mountain, and it should be fairly familiar to you. So you don't have it up yet, do you? You're not ready. The supervisor has become the supervised. Go ahead.
Moses said to Jehovah, you have told me to lead these people, but you did not say whom you would send with me. You have said to me, I know you very well. I am pleased with you. If you have found grace in me, show me your way. Then I may know you and continue to have grace in your sight. Consider that this nation is your people. Jehovah answered, I myself will go with you, and I will give you rest. Then Moses said to him, if you yourself don't go with us, then don't send us away from this place. How will it be known that I and your people have found grace in your sight if you do not go with us? These people and I would be no different than any other people on earth. Then Jehovah said to Moses, I will do what you ask, because I know you very well, and I have found grace in you. Then Moses said, I pray, show me your glory. Jehovah answered, I will cause all my goodness to pass in front of you. I will proclaim my name, Jehovah, so you can hear it. I will show grace to anyone I want to show grace. I will show love to anyone I want to show love. But you cannot see my face. No one can see me and stay alive. Jehovah said, there is a place near me where you may stand on a rock. My glory will pass that place. I will put you in a large crack in that rock, and I will cover you with my hand until I have passed by. Then I will take away my hand, and you will see my back. But my face must not be seen. Exodus 33, verse 12 through 23.
Moses didn't ask to see the face of Jehovah. He asked to see his glory. Moses was arrogant enough to argue every so often, right? You remember at the burning bush, Moses said, I can't go do this. No, pick somebody else. I don't want to. And basically he was told, tough luck. It's you. Tag, you're it. So Moses is not exactly, he's used to being in the presence of kings, right? He was raised in Pharaoh's palace. And he's considering still at this point that the Creator is nothing, I don't know if I want to say it this way, but in Moses' view, because he could argue with Pharaoh, his adopted grandfather, then he could argue with his Creator as well. In Moses, in the mind of Moses, it simply makes sense that he's exchanging one king for another. Am I saying that right? Okay.
Yes.
But Moses doesn't ask to see his face. He asks to see his glory. And the Hebrew word kavod is defined as glory or glorious. And that concept, though, in this instance, actually means, can I be allowed to see inside your house through the door? Now remember that Hebrew is a verb or an action-based language. Moses is asking to see more than the throne room. He's saying, can I come in? He wants to be allowed inside, well, the inner sanctum, the living quarters of the palace, so to speak. But the Creator changes the conversation. And he does so as a way of saying, no, you can't come into my private chamber. No one can. You can't even see my face and live. Now, the Bible in its original language is what I call agonizingly specific. We don't have to interpret it. It's already interpreted for us. All we have to do is read it. And even in English, the difference is here. I did tweak this passage, like I said, to make it more clear about what is being said to whom and by whom. And I did use more of some of the direct translations in a few places. So why then do other writers ask to seek the face of the Creator? If no one can see his face and live, why are they asking for it? Listen to what David writes. Go ahead and read that.
Jehovah, hear my voice when I call. Show me grace and answer me. My heart said, seek his face. Your face, Jehovah, I will seek. Hide not your face from me, nor turn away your servant in anger. You have been my help. Do not leave me or forsake me, God of my salvation. Psalm 27, verse 7 through 9.
Now again, I tweaked this passage so it's a little easier to understand. David knew very well that the Almighty said, no one can see my face and live. So, what's this all about? Now, there is another verse that has been, in the last few years in the United States, it's become very popular. It comes from 2 Chronicles 7:14, and it should be familiar. It reads, if my people who are called by my name humble themselves and pray and seek my face. Now, this is Jehovah speaking. If they seek my face, turn from their wicked ways, I will hear from heaven, forgive their sin, and heal their land. Now, why would the Creator, who is speaking to Solomon here, the same one who tells Moses, no one can see my face and live, now say, seek my face? Again, this is Solomon's answer, or Jehovah's answer to Solomon, when Solomon is praying as the temple is now finished, and the answers are coming to Solomon. Basically, he's telling Solomon, if the people fail to guard and do my instructions, I will keep the rain from falling. I will send locusts to eat your food. I'll send plagues onto the people. Things are going to be bad. Then this is going to be a reminder for them. They're going to have to remember that if they actually bow down to the Almighty, to their Creator, if they pray, if they look for forgiveness, and look for the light of His face and repent. Now, that concept doesn't really translate well into English, does it? And by the way, here, just as a short side note, the word people here is much different. He says, Ami, my people. Much different than the word used in Exodus 19, where he says, you will be a people of priests. That word there used is goim. It's where we get the term Gentile from. And even though it's typically translated as nation, when it's actually used to speak of a group of people, it means the people outside of the covenant that was made at Mount Sinai with the Creator. Now, when he said you will be a goim, or a people outside of the covenant had not been made yet. So instead of calling them Ami, my people, they used a different word. That really doesn't come across in English when we read it that way either. Amazing. Just think of how many novels that have been translated into English that we think we know what's going on and we really don't. How much more important is the Bible to understand in its original language? Or at least have it explained in its original concepts. We need to seek the light, what we think of as countenance. Lift up your countenance upon us, as it is in English. It's that same light that kept the plants alive until the sun was created. If you remember back in Genesis 1, the Almighty says, let there be light. He's not talking about sunlight. He's saying, let my light shine into that, what we consider the physical universe. Let my light shine through all of the stuff that is here and between us. Let it go there. That's what, let there be light actually means. It's not talking about sunshine. It's not talking about moonlight. It's not talking about fire. He's talking about the light that he emits from himself. Let it come into this physical universe. There's another example. How about that? How many witnesses do we need for something to prove itself in Scripture? At least two. Well, here's another one. When Jacob leaves Laban and travels back towards home, he's met by Esau. So go ahead and read this passage.
Now Jacob looked up and saw Esau coming towards him with 400 men. So he divided the children among Leah, Rachel, and 2 maidservants. He put the maidservants and their children in front, Leah and her children next, and Rachel and Joseph in the rear. But Jacob himself went on ahead and bowed to the ground 7 times as he approached his brother. Esau, however, ran to him and embraced him, threw his arms around his neck and kissed him, and they both wept. Then Esau looked up and saw the women and children. He asked, "Who are these with you?" Jacob answered, "These are the children God has graciously given your servant." Then the maidservants and their children approached and bowed down. Leah and her children also approached and bowed down. Then Joseph and Rachel approached and bowed down. "What do you mean by sending this whole company to meet me?" asked Esau. "To find favor in your sight, my lord," Jacob answered. "I already have plenty, my brother," Esau replied. "Keep what belongs to you." But Jacob insisted, "No, please. If I have found favor in your sight, then receive this gift from my hand. For indeed I have seen your face, and it is like seeing the face of God, since you have received me favorably." Genesis 3, verse 1 through 10.
Okay, there are so many lessons in this, there is no way I can get to them all. Now remember that Jacob didn't leave Isaac's home being best friends with Esau, right? So he wasn't exactly sure how he would be greeted after 14 years. I mean, it had been a long time. Jacob and Esau are only a representation of good and evil. Esau was hairy, which is associated with the devil, and he did give up his birthright for something that would temporarily satisfy his hunger, and he did lose his blessing. Sound like a divine being we might know of? I think. So he represents it. Jacob had Isaac's blessing, and he wound up with 2 wives, right? That could be representational of a couple of things, either the 2 houses of Israel or the children of Abraham, along with the people who join with them. Either way you want to think of it is fine. But when they met, as Jacob's returning, they embraced. Did you catch what Jacob said to Esau? "If I have found grace in your sight, take my gift." Salvation's a gift from God, right? If he has found grace in our sight, we can receive that gift. Jacob continues, "I've seen your face. I saw the face of Esau." And it's like seeing, not it is seeing, but it is like seeing the face of God. Jacob saw the light in Esau's eyes. How many lessons can there be in this little passage? A lot. And don't think of them as metaphors. It's more than that. These are, some people can call them shadow pictures, because they're representational and they represent other things. Some folks might consider them layers, which is fine. It depends on how you want to think about these things, that all of these lessons are combined into this meeting. And it all works. It all fits. David singing praise to the Almighty and saying, "With everything I am, I want to be let in. I want that relationship with my Creator that can only come from being allowed into the living quarters of the palace." Now, Moses blatantly asked for it. So, where does that leave us? Should we ask to be allowed in? Well, much like any friendship, okay, we only visit someone's home when we know them well enough to be let in, right? You know, you don't go knocking on a stranger's door and say, invite yourself to supper. You just don't do it. Well, not in the United States anyway. You know, it's a good way to start a fight. But when we actually get to know somebody, once you've established that you are capable of being the kind of friend that they want to have, they will let you into their home. They let their guard down a little bit. And then you develop the kind of relationship that goes farther than just an acquaintance. And that's what the Creator desires with us. but there's a string attached. Before we can go into his home, he wants to be allowed into ours. Some people just went, oh, I can hear it through the radio. Before you can go into his home, he has to be allowed into yours. Not as an acquaintance either, but as a friend. Someone you can call when things are going good, when things are going well. Not just somebody you call because, they've got a truck and you're getting ready to move. Right? Not just somebody you call can you come bail me out of jail? Can you come give me a pint of blood? Can you give me one of your kidneys? That's not the relationship he wants. He wants more. He wants to be invited into your living quarters and into your palace. It's not just, what can I do for you? It's, how can we work through this together? And that was Moses' mistake. Okay? Moses knew he needed the Creator. He even loved his Creator. But he didn't realize that before he could be invited into the inner circle, he had to be a friend. The kind of friend that the Creator desired him to be. It's interesting that twice in the Bible it's written that David is a man after God's own heart, but he was never called a friend of God. You can see that in 1 Samuel 13 and Acts 13. The only one in the Bible that's considered a friend of God is Abraham. If you look at Isaiah 41:18, but you, O Israel, my servant Jacob, who I have chosen, descendant of Abraham, my friend. James recalls this when he's writing about faith in James 2:23. But what made Abraham a friend of the Creator? He loved him, and that was counted for righteousness? Was that enough? Abraham wasn't just following the Creator's directions. Abraham wanted to be obedient. He had a desire to please. He understood that if he was going to follow his Creator, that he needed to live like he wanted to follow the Creator, not out of duty. And that was the difference between Abraham and Moses. Moses realized he needed to be obedient, but for him it was more like following orders. And that may have come from growing up in the house of Pharaoh, being taught the military training that would have been associated with that. He was more dutiful than friendly. It was his point of view that gives him that, which made him the right choice to bring the people out of Egypt. But he never really learned the lesson of how to be a friend of God. What it takes to be a friend to the Creator, to be invited into the inner sanctum of his palace, not just into the throne room, is the desire to be friends, to get to know each other the same way Abraham did. Not to follow the instructions out of duty, but to respect those instructions as you would, as if you're visiting someone's home. Some cultures around the world, they don't wear shoes in the home. Other cultures, it's proper to bring a small token of friendship when you visit. There's different things we do in different cultures when you go to someone's home, right? I think each family probably has little things they do that are kind of unique to the way they live. And they expect people when they visit to do the same thing. I'll admit I've got a bad habit. I leave my shoes, inside the back entrance to the house, the one we use all the time. We rarely use the front door. We always use the back door. When people come, they come in the back door. And in our culture that we grew up in, the old saying was "backdoor friends are best." You bypass all the formality and just come in the back door. Well, sometimes when people come to visit, they see my shoes sitting there and they think they've got to take theirs off. I don't care if they wear their shoes in the house. It doesn't bother me. I do it out of habit because most of the time I go around barefoot anyway, about 8 months out of the year. Well, and sometimes I'll go out when there's snow on the ground in bare feet too, but that's a different story. But people see that and they'll pop their shoes off. That's fine. I don't care. You can leave them on, take them off. It doesn't matter to me. But that's the difference between what Abraham was looking at when he saw God, right? He said, "Oh, you expect me to do this when I come in? Okay, I'll do that." Moses, on the other hand, knocks on the door, "I'd like in." God says, "Well, what do you want to do to get in?" No. You're doing this out of duty. You're here as an officer, attempting to, relate business stuff. I want to be friends. The difference between Abraham and Moses is Moses was all business. Abraham just wanted to be friends. It's okay. We'll take care of each other. And God said, "No, Abraham, I will take care of you, and I will take care of your descendants and everybody who joins with them." And that's really the love and the respect that Abraham had for his Creator. He didn't need to be asked. Abraham was just observant. He said, "Oh, this is how you want me to do things? Okay, I'll do things that way. I'll be glad to do that." And the interesting part is there's nothing stopping any of us from having that same type of relationship with our Creator except ourselves. When you approach your Creator, do you do it out of a sense of duty? Do you do it because it's the right thing to do? Do you do it because, Mom, Dad, Grandma, Grandpa, they all taught me to do it this way. It must be right. Were they looking for the shoes sitting at the back door? Were they even thinking about taking a gift? The funny thing is, our Creator doesn't expect a gift when we visit Him. He expects us to take His gift. You see the difference? He gives us something. And all He expects from us is, "Oh, okay, I can do that. I can be the one that, I can give up all the traditions. I can give up all my church doctrine. I can give up praying to the dead. I can give up all that stuff. That's and all I have to do is be friends with the Creator of the universe." Sounds like a pretty good deal to me. Now, if you are having some trouble figuring this out, let me suggest to you that the best way to begin that relationship is with an open and honest conversation with Him. If you're having a little issue with that, maybe you should go to givegod90.com. It's absolutely free. You can take all that in and you can start, as soon as you turn this podcast off. Right? Because it's all there. It's there for you to glean from. Begin with prayer. Stay in prayer. And follow His instructions. Not out of duty. Not because you think it's the responsible thing to do, but because you want to. You have a desire in your heart that says, somehow I know I need it, and I got to do it. Again, not because you have to, but because you want to. That's how you start. And you can take it, you can be, like anybody. So, as you are with that. That's all I have for today. Did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
Thanks for joining us. See you on Thursday.
Absolutely. Until then, many, many blessings, everyone.